hands. What recourse is there for the competition committee to somehow change this and satisfy more people around?
Well, first of all, there have been tweaks to that rule. The ball can hit the ground, but you still must maintain control. Your hands under, or the ball can't move. And when the ball moved, clearly it was not a catch under the rules of the definition. They've discussed this thing ad nauseum over the previous years, and they've tweaked it here and there. Here's the problem, as it was explained to me. I said, what about the catch and then putting it over the plane to the goal line and then the ball moves? And they said, listen, it's different. You must have made the catch first. Catch is not complete until you secured it and it survived the ground. You just can't, because we have to apply the same rule to the 20-yard line, the 40-yard line, the boundaries. And so if it's not a catch in the 20 or the 30 or 40 or the boundaries, it's not going to be different at the goal line unless you've already secured it and made the catch. Once heard Chris Carter talk about this a couple years ago. Catch the ball. You know what? If you catch the ball, it's not an issue.
Yeah, but it does feel like he caught the ball, and in extending to get it over the plane, that's when the ball
But
came
he
out.
knows, listen, these guys act instinctively, and I'm not blaming Jesse James for that. But the bottom line is, if that's not a catch at the 30-yard line, it's not going to be a catch at the goal line.
You don't think they're going to change the rule?
I don't think they're going to change it, because I've had this discussion with a lot of them. But, you never say never with the competition committee. People will, it's that whole thing. It looks like a duck and walks like a duck and quacks like a duck. It is a duck. But we've gone through this every year, it seems like.
It's not a duck unless you survive the ground. This is what we've been told. All right, so you're staying with us for a crazy hour here on sports. There's so much NFL to get into. Kerry, back to you.
All right, I'm on the dramedy now, David, joined by NFL analysts Louis Riddick and Ryan Clark. Thanks so much for joining us. So you heard more just talk about the catch rule, and it's not changing. I'll start with you first, Ryan. Do you agree with that? Should it be changed?
We've tried to tweak it so many times. I've been in competition committee meetings where we've tried to figure out another way to decide whether it's a catch or not. And right now, here's the only reason I don't think it's a change. Because every former referee, every current referee, everyone that works with referees knew the exact same answer, felt the exact same way about this play. And if they can at least all be on the same page in their explanation and the way that they apply this rule, I can live with it. Whether you hate the rule or not, that is what it is, but at least they understand how to enforce it.
Yeah, this is an interesting situation for me because, look, with most rules, with many rules, there's a degree of subjectivity to it. It's about a judgment call for the referees. And I think anybody who watches football can tell you that, look, if that looks, as Mort just said, look, if that looks like a catch, then it probably is a catch. The whole concept of surviving the ground is trying to take some of the subjectivity out of it and make it more objective, meaning if you don't possess the ball through the ground, then it's not a catch. I understand that. You're trying to establish some consistency. What's interesting to me is, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, is it's funny how when ball carriers have the ball and they hit the ground, the ball doesn't have to survive the ground, because if the ground can't cause a fumble with ball carriers, but it can cause a non-catch for receivers. That's interesting to me. Well, how come it is? Why is it that way with ball carriers? So it's one of these things where to lose it, and then the dramatic aspect of this game and ramifications of them losing this game is what makes this all the more just gut-wrenching from the Steelers' perspective. And for us overall as football fans, you just hate to see a football team lose a game like that, maybe because of a play like that.
Yeah, I wonder what Des has to think. But as you just said, it's very subjective, Louis. So I'm watching this game. The last 2 minutes, it's back and forth. Louis, I'll get your take. What was your takeaway after you watched those last 2 minutes, the final two?
Well, the go-ahead drive for the New England Patriots, it again just struck me as being just unexplainable as to why Rob Gronkowski was not the target of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense as far as doing whatever was necessary in order to not let this guy just march down the field, like a big giant, the King Kong that he is with athletic ability, and really just basically salt the game away for the New England Patriots for all intents and purposes, and not have a better plan for trying to disrupt him at the line of scrimmage, double him down the field, challenge him at the catch point, and play to the routes that they're going to want to run, like this one right here on the two-point play. You never see Gronk run slants. He always runs fades down there on the goal line when he takes a reduced split, but you leave him one-on-one against the guy he's been beaten up the whole drive. That's what kind of really just struck me. And then in the critical situation, look, whether it's Big Ben's fault, whether it's Mike Tomlin's fault, whether it's Todd Haley's fault as to why they threw a slant into triple coverage and didn't throw the ball out of bounds, look, I guess we'll be debating that forever. But you just don't see the Patriots make those kind of game management mistakes very often.
Yeah, you say we'll be debating that until forever. So again, subjective. I'll hang on that word. Let's listen to what the Steelers had to say since you brought it up. The chances ended when Big Ben threw that pick on that fake spike. Ben was asked about the play after the game, and here's what he had to say.
Maybe they wanted to feel good, maybe they wanted to tie it. I don't know, and so maybe that's on me. Maybe I should have just clocked it, whatever it is. I don't know. So we're not going to look back and second guess anything or anybody. We lost the game, and I threw a pick in the end zone at the end of the game to lose it.
Do you have a problem with Ben going for it in that situation?
No, man. We play and play to win. That's what we do.
We play and we play to win. Ryan, I'll start with you first, former Steeler. Do you believe both Ben and Mike Tomlin?
I believe Mike T for sure. I believe Ben in the sense that he had some things going on in his headset and he decided to try to make a play and he made a bad throw and he said himself, he threw a pick. When you look at this team and what they've done in various situations like this, I mean, even Dion Lewis knew it, the running back from the New England Patriots. This is an Antonio Brown play usually. And Eli Rogers, I believe, ran the route that he was called to run on the fake spike. Everyone else looked like they thought it was going to be spiked on that play. So what went on the headsets, whose decision it was, who won it, I don't really know. But I do believe Coach Tomlin when he says he doesn't want to take those things away from Ben. You play to win the game, as Coach Herm would always say. And they played to win. And that's what Ben has always done. That's what Coach Tomlin has allowed him to be. So you can't ask him to pull it back when it doesn't work. Obviously, he was upset by the interception, as you saw him screaming no at the end there. But those are plays you allow your All-Pro, your Pro Bowl quarterback to make. And this time, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, every play is about coaches and play callers weighing risk versus reward here. And obviously they did that with Big Ben. He makes a lot of money. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and they trusted him. It didn't work out this time. It's unfortunate. But they lost a good chance to get home field advantage, obviously.
Okay, so that's Louis Riddick and Ryan Clark. You guys will join us a little later on. Maybe David Lloyd, as I send it to you, maybe it's about how good the Patriots are. We've seen that happen time and time again. Remember that slant in the Super Bowl?
I do. And actually, to add injury to insult in this game, Kerry, the NFL's leading receiver, Antonio Brown, left in the first half with a partially torn left calf. He hasn't missed a game to injury since 2012. Adam Schefter reporting he's not likely to play next week against the Texans. We've got Mort back with us here. What more can you tell us about the injury and what his timetable is for when we could see him back on the field?
Yeah, and Adam reported that it was a partially torn calf. And for any athlete who plays on his feet, obviously, that's a tough injury. And so, unlikely to play the rest of the regular season. So we have 2 games left in the regular season. And then it's a matter of, do you get a bye for the first round, which is very much of an error. Nobody wants to play the Jacksonville Jaguars, by the way.
Right.
Even that team in New England. But if they can get a bye, now you're giving them enough time to possibly be ready for the playoffs. And everybody heals differently. As it was pointed out, the route that Eli Rogers ran on that interception at the end, that would have been Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. And so it all comes full circle there. Chris Mortensen with us. We'll have you back a little bit later in the show, more to talk about some other things. Let's take a quick look at the AFC playoff picture, which is crazy muddled. If the Patriots and Steelers win out, the Pats would have home field advantage. The Steelers would also get that first round bye that Mort was talking about. The Jags can still get home field